Between 1986 and 2022, the Canadian men's national soccer team suffered a World Cup drought that a lot of people thought would never end. It ended in 2022 in Qatar with Alphonso Davies and Team Canada, and will be taken to the next level in 2026 when the World Cup comes to Toronto and Vancouver. Thrilled to be joined by my man, Mike Whitson. Mike, how are you?
Good, Jimmy. How's it going?
Good. Because Canada went so long without a World Cup appearance, there is a lot of what I call niche diehard soccer fans. There are pockets of soccer fans across the country who are passionate. It maybe doesn't have the global appeal, the national appeal of, say, our national hockey team on the world stage, but it's about to happen because whether Canada is ready or not, prepare for millions of people to come to this country in June and July of next year in Southern Ontario, in the Lower Mainland and BC for the World Cup.
It's so funny you said it's a very niche. Historically in Canada, it's kind of a niche fan thing. And I remember my friends from high school who were British or Irish or even Italian. I grew up in a predominantly Italian neighborhood.
Soccer's everything.
Yeah, they were following games. I didn't even know where these places were.
Right.
Manchester and Puglia and all of these towns and stuff. So to me, it was actually kind of an exotic game in the sense that it was played in all of these parts of the world, but it was kind of strange to me growing up here in Canada. Hockey was the thing, softball, curling. I can't believe I added that.
Curling is huge out west.
Okay, but
curling's a huge sport.
I haven't done it. Rodeo's huge too, but I don't think I'll ever do it. But all of that kind of usurped really my knowledge of soccer until recent years.
Yes.
Why is that? Why has World Cup become so prominent now in Canada?
There's a couple of reasons. I'll start with the demographics of the country has changed dramatically since the last time really Canada was a World Cup team in 86. Now, there's been a recent revolution in the last decade with Canada's international soccer power, and it's a byproduct of more population, more diverse population.
Right.
The growth of youth soccer has exploded across the country. Quite frankly, it's cheaper and safer than a lot of other sports for a lot of families. So all of a sudden, the talent base to choose from for Canadian soccer has gone from this to this.
Right.
And you are looking at young Canadian men and women playing on international teams around the world because of their skill level. And now when Team Canada and Jesse March, the coach, picks his players, he's picking elite players playing in elite teams around the world like Alphonso Davies, which is an elite level player and Canadian from Edmonton.
That's wild because, and it's true. I mean, I had a recent opportunity to hang out with the guys from Ontario Soccer. Wow. It's 500,000 kids across the province playing soccer.
And that's just Ontario.
That's just Ontario. And the development system they've built in to get these kids into university with scholarships and from scholarships to international play. It's part of our athletic programming here in Canada now.
I remember being in Humber College, and Canada was in the World Cup in 86. And that was the famous World Cup with Diego Maradona. And I thought, this is great. But then year after year, they would fail in qualifying. And I would get my hopes up. And I remember Craig Forrest and Team Canada in the early 2000s. They had a glimpse. They had a good running at the Gold Cup. And it was just soccer fans of Canada, all of a sudden in World Cup time, would cheer for, maybe they had relatives who immigrated. And it was all of a sudden you were cheering for Italy or Argentina or Scotland or whatever country maybe you had roots from. That was your team. But then in 2022, things changed. Canada qualified. They played respectively. And now as a host team, they're back there in 2026 and they'll be playing on home soil. It wasn't that long ago, Mike, that was unheard of to think that Team Canada would have the men's soccer team in the FIFA World Cup playing in Vancouver and Toronto.
No,
unheard of.
It actually does feel like we're in the Matrix a little bit. And in fact, one of the things you pointed out that's really cool to me is that we hit the international stage way more impressively than I assumed we would. Once again, not a huge soccer fan. And I look at it from sort of a cultural perspective where everybody for all these years was wearing all these soccer jerseys and things like that.
The flags in your car and everything.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If you lived in Vaughan,
it
didn't matter. The World Cup kind of gone 3 or 4 different ways and you were still going to get flags honking. There was a real festive spirit to it, but it was never with Canada's team in mind.
Well, no, because they were never part of it. They were not part of it for 36 years.
Do you think it's hard for some people to let go of their heritage team to now embrace Canada?
As a matter of fact, Mike, it'll be fascinating. So the World Cup draw will take place Friday, December 5th. And when I say the draw, there's 48 countries involved in the World Cup.
Okay.
And they pull the names out of the hat. And they go, Group A, it's Canada, it's Argentina, it's, and then name the countries. So they pick all the countries for all the groups to determine how the playdowns are going to go. And what you'll find is, depending on who Canada plays, the first Canadian game is June 12th at BMO Field in Toronto. And say Canada is playing Italy. Well, I tell you what, there'll be a lot of Italian Canadians will be really torn who to cheer for. Or they're playing Germany, or they're playing, you name the country.
Yeah.
Because we're such a diverse country now, there will be some, they'll be torn. Geez, I want Canada to win, but
this could actually this could be good for Canada then, because this could be that moment where, sorry, Italy, or sorry, Argentina, I have to leave you behind. I love you, but now my guys are in the play for the finals.
And of the last 4 or 5 years, the ascension of Canada as an international soccer team, and the games they've won, the qualifying games, the tournaments they played in, the level of play, and the reaction to the fans, there are now diehard, knowledgeable, loyal Team Canada fans who are traveling around the world to support them with their drums and their flags and their scarves. And all of a sudden, it's become like seeing Canadian hockey jerseys when Team Canada's playing in the World Juniors in Helsinki. Now you're seeing that with soccer.
We've got representation out there.
Representation, money behind them, years of passion for soccer, and now their country, the beloved Maple Leaf, is going to be something they can cheer for. And this is something very special. Here we are in the fall of 2025, and we're still thinking a few months ahead. But as we get closer in the calendar, especially with the World Cup draw, especially when you'll see Canada, what group they're in, what countries we're playing, then things are going to be taken to another level.
One of the things that I think has popped up on my radar in the news has been what we have to do from an infrastructure standpoint.
Correct.
I think one of the major stories in the World Cup in Canada, we're kind of new. And now we're already hosting. And we're hosting in cities that are very far apart, and building facilities that need to house an enormous amount of people. It is going to be a big pressure on, hotels, and it'll be a great boon, of course.
Of course.
I mean, I think I read someplace 1.2 billion GDP boost for Canada.
Easy
is what we're expecting, and 3,500, almost 3,600 new jobs just from this World Cup. Now, I'm assuming those are temporary jobs.
A lot, of course, but think about the layers of infrastructure going into just Toronto at BMO Field hosting World Cup games. Part of that is a rehabilitation of the Gardiner Expressway. For people never been to Toronto, it's the major east-west expressway along the southern part of downtown.
It's unaffectionately known by all as the Gardiner Depressway.
It's horrible, the raised highway. However, at one time, they didn't think the rehabilitation and infrastructure construction would be done in time for the World Cup. And I'll give Doug Ford and the Ontario government credit. They threw in hundreds of millions of dollars to allow the city of Toronto to work around the clock. So now they'll be done months ahead of time, because you can't have lanes closed on highways around BMO Field for the World Cup, because what's going to happen, the capacity will be 45,000. There'll be another 20, 30, 40,000 fans of that respective country around Exhibition Place, around downtown Toronto and Vancouver, cheering on their country, their team.
Wait, pause the World Cup for a second. If Doug Ford gives the city money, they can work around the clock and get the roads done, is what I just heard.
They just did.
Nick, did I just hear that?
They did.
Possible?
Yes.
Okay, forget the World Cup. We need to focus on this alone. Round the clock. We can get this done finally, once and for all.
Well, and a lot of people are saying the same thing, Mike. Like, why is it that this highway and that roadway and this subway track and this streetcar track has taken so long? But to the Ontario government, the federal government's credit, they realize the world is coming to Canada. The world is going to be watching our two biggest cities. So I know the Ontario government did the right thing and threw hundreds of millions of dollars there to make sure that the Lakeshore, the Gardiner, that they're all done, that they're going to make sure, planning right now with Metrolink and the TTC, there are no weekend subway closures during World Cup games. They can't have it.
Some of the weird paranoias we're having already about hosting this include one thing that I went to take a look at this, Jim, and I have to be honest with you. I've never been to BMO Field for any event.
Yeah.
I've driven by it on the
It's a great stadium.
It looks beautiful.
It is. It's a beautiful stadium.
It looks beautiful. I mean, it looks like, you could die of heat stroke in the middle of summer and it's completely useless in winter, but that's a different point. They have to double the size of this facility, essentially. It currently seats how many?
They're basically going from 30 and change. They're adding 17,000 temporary seats to bring it up to 45,000.
So they essentially have to double the size of this building.
Yeah.
Have you seen the construction process or the progress on this so far?
It's fascinating. So right now they've added 4 video screens, which are 9 meters by 15 meters, but it's 28 feet by 47 feet. Massive video screens on the 4 corners of the stadium. So no matter where you are in the stadium, you can see everything, replays, commercials, and whatnot. They're adding 10,000 seats to one end of the stadium and 7,000 to the other, and sort of temporary seats. So like you see at the Rogers Stadium concert facility at Downsview Park, or you see at any kind of big festival, concert festival, they've got it down to a science. It's almost like a Meccano set, if that makes sense, of temporary seats that go up and it'll envelop the stadium to the permanent structure that's there right now to meet the minimum requirement by FIFA, 45,000 seats.
So I take a look at Reddit last night, which is my number one source. And there's a little section in there, the guys people that are working on this facility. And like, they're all just saying, it's never going to happen in time. It's never going to happen in time. And I went by the facility. Jim, I'm not a construction guy. They've got a lot to do in a really short time.
And I'm glad you brought that up. According to FIFA rules, when FIFA stages the World Cup, no matter what country, the stadiums that are hosting the games, no matter what country in the world, 1 month before the game, you hand over control of that stadium from the team and the city to FIFA. So by May 12th of 2026, FIFA takes over control of BMO Field to the end of the World Cup. And that means FIFA staff, FIFA signage, because we're talking multiple languages. So whatever language country is playing
I hope
Team
FIFA
Canada,
brings some construction skills and it just so between now and May.
It's between now and May. Now, the one thing...
I mean, this looks like we are going to... I mean, a couple of things. Sorry.
No, please.
Jim, I'm sorry.
No, Mike, please. I show respect.
Come on. Listen, I think that one of the things that got me when I went by was it really looks unstarted. Like, it looks like between now and May, it will take a miracle.
I know. I will say this. The construction engineering technology of building that many temporary seats is light years better than it was even 5 years ago. Look how fast they put up 50,000 temporary seats for the concert facility at Downsview Park in Toronto.
I'm going to be amazed. That's my point. I'm going to be, when it's done,
look,
I'm going to be amazed.
You're not the only one, Mike. You're not speaking, out of your hat.
And I will be so proud if we pull this off. I will be so proud that Toronto could work day and night to fix a road we needed fixed for 30 years. And to get a stadium done that we'll never use again.
No, we have to understand. BMO Field is done. BMO Field is a great permanent stadium. They're just adding temporary seats to each end of it.
So
to the current structure.
That structure then will go away.
The extra seats, yeah. So the extra seats will be taken away. It's no different than a massive.
What are we going to do with those extra seats?
They could use the Honda Indy Markham.
Right. Okay. So they're going to repurpose all of these.
They'll go to a big festival in the prairies or a big concert that's being... So that's the beauty thing, is basically they go on tractor trailer flatbeds and they can set them up and take them to different parts of the country.
You heard it here first. It's a beauty thing. Nothing could be more Canadian than my good friend Jim Lang saying it's a beauty thing. Because if it is a beauty thing, that's such a great Canadian phrase. Yeah, man, we're in good shape because this could open up the world of sports in Canada in other ways.
Well, look,
it just seems like so much,
I know,
Jim.
Mike, this has been a dream for a lot of people in this country, not just soccer fans, but the city fathers and sisters of Toronto and Vancouver, for a lot of levels of politicians, a lot of volunteers to bring a World Cup soccer match to Canada. So to think that Toronto and Vancouver are hosting World Cup soccer matches with Team Canada was a dream that was not even possible not that long ago. This is a huge thing. Look what Vancouver did with the 2010 Olympics. Look how amazing that was. People pissed all over the Pan Am Games in 2015. They turned out great in those facilities, like the Markham Pan Am Center. Like
one of them in St. Catharines is remarkable.
Incredible.
Yeah.
The Velodrome, the swimming pools, all of those facilities will train athletes for decades to come.
But there is this other side of that, right? We have these white elephant stadiums that
it's called the Big O in Montreal. I've been there many times.
Well, I mean, even right here, BMO Fields, like I say, it's usable for a very short period of time.
I mean, let's say, okay, BMO Field is used for the Argos. It's used for TFC. It's used for international women's and men's soccer.
It's snowing. It's done.
No, they basically play right until December. So they play from April until December.
Who does?
Soccer.
Who?
The national teams and TFC.
Until when?
They basically go from April to December. Early
April
December.
to December.
Yeah.
So one team.
No, you have multiple teams. You have TFC.
Okay, one sport.
And football, the Argos.
And the Argos are done when? November?
November.
And then it basically, so what I'm saying is it is an underutilized facility. There's no two ways about it.
Compared to a roof facility, correct.
But so we live in a country where we kind of need to think in those terms, don't we?
Now, you bring up a good point. That is why BC Place will host more games than BMO Field in Toronto.
Right.
For a couple of reasons. It's got 15,000 more seats.
Right.
It's got more capacity. It has a roof. It is hosted big events before, and it's proven that before. So what will happen for Canadian soccer fans and soccer fans in general in Canada, BMO Field in Toronto gets one Team Canada game. That's June 12th. Then it's other countries playing each other. Then it's a round of 32 game taking place on July 2nd. BC Place gets 2 games for Team Canada and a round of 32 and a round of 16 game. And then they go to even bigger stadiums in the USA and Mexico when they get to the semifinals and finals.
Okay, let's talk about the impact on these cities.
Well, it's huge.
So, well, it seems positive, right? 1.2 billion in GDP. I think, how much is it going to cost us to do this in total?
I don't have the number off the top of my head, but I do know that the previous mayor in Toronto, John Tory, locked Toronto into a deal that will cost the city a lot of money.
Hey, Nick, can you do me a favor and see if you can
find
that
Nick.
number? Yes, please,
Nick. I just forget the exact number, how much it's going to cost Toronto to host the World Cup. It is significant. And basically, there's no way the city could get out of it the way the contract was written. So Toronto's committed to it.
I mean, I know that it started early days at what sounded like $80 million.
Oh, it's way past that.
And I have a feeling now that the city's getting close to $600 million in commitment. Now, okay, that's all good. And I don't have any problem seeing us spend money to host something globally. But this kind of feels, oh, you got a number there, Nikki?
Yes, the total cost of planning and hosting the World Cup in Toronto includes $236.4 million in operating costs and $143.6 million in capital costs, totaling $380 million.
380. And then what was? Can we find out what it's going to cost combined with Vancouver? Because this is a thing. I think that it's good that it leaves some legacy stuff here, but we're only adding temporary stadiums, so we're not leaving legacy facilities.
No. BC Place is a full stadium that's been there for decades. BMO Field's still going to be there. They're only taking away the temporary seats.
I understand, but we're not getting anything legacy left behind that we can use as a facility.
Well, the legacy is not like, say, an Olympic Games or Pan Am Games. The legacy is Canada as a soccer nation. The legacy is Toronto and Vancouver and Canada hosting international events, not just sports, arts, cultural, political, the ability that for years, what have we heard? Toronto is a world-class city. Vancouver is a world-class city. We are showing the world what these two magnificent cities in Canada are all about.
Here's my point. right now, Vancouver is under the most pressure for crime, homelessness, drugs on the street. Are we really going to be showing the best face to the world? Toronto currently, the traffic situation, we're going to add all of this congestion to a city that already can't handle it no matter what we do with the Gardiner. Do we have enough hotel rooms? I've heard that there's a deficit in Vancouver alone of over 50,000 room nights.
So that is okay. Nick's got an update.
Nick,
talk to us,
Okay,
Nick.
so I don't have the numbers combined, but so a headline from British Columbia, this is in June, saying that hosting the 2026 FIFA World Cup games could cost up to $624 million, says the BC government. Now the costs will be offset by $448 million to $478 million of estimated revenues and recoveries.
Right. Well, assumed. That's the risk.
So let's paint the scenario. The first game for Canada is Friday, June 12th at BMO Field. Canada versus, we'll find out December 5th. The fans aren't arriving that day. They'll arrive in the week. Hotels, flights, Uber, taxis, restaurants, bars, and pubs. And it's not just the fans in the stadium. It's the fans coming, and they'll be there all weekend. And then there's another game, and then another game, and another game. Think the round of 32 match at BMO Field is Thursday, July 2nd. Well, Canada Day. You've got Canada Day as a national holiday. People will be there the whole last weekend of June up until the match.
I feel very badly because it sounds like I'm poo-pooing, and I'm also very excited.
No,
I think it'll be great.
But Mike, you have to temper it. Yeah,
I am worried a little bit about it, and I do
have to be.
I want to temper it with excitement because I want you to know that I'm excited. That we are hosting this, that Canada's represented.
Yeah.
All of that to me is so fantastic, right? I do worry that sometimes Canada, we jump in where we're not rich enough to do something. Yeah, we'll host the party. Come on, guys.
Well,
you just joined. You just showed up at high school and you're going to host the party. I don't know, dude.
There's a couple things at play there that Canada's always wanted to play the big boys. Yes.
Yeah.
But when all this was being decided, when all this was a joint with Mexico, the USA, and Canada, the economy in the world was much different. Right? This just didn't happen in the last.
When did this get planned?
This has been years in the making.
Yeah.
And that is part of it as well. Now,
so Canada entered the FIFA World and threw our name in the ring right away, saying, "Listen, we want to be one of the host
so
cities,
we wanted. This
countries.
is a unique thing where there's games in Mexico, the USA, and Canada. This is what we have to understand as Canadians. Historically, anytime we go to host something, it's Canadian nature to try to. It's not going to work. It's not going to work.
No, okay, I don't want to be that guy.
No,
either.
but
it's true.
Canadians do that a lot, and then it happens.
Yeah.
And then we see a headline from a paper in England or South America or in Tokyo, and they're like, "Oh my! Do you see what they're saying about us?
Yeah,
that's such a Canadian thing." And then they come away going, "Wow, I'd like to come back here. I'd like to come back and vacation here. I'd like to come back and spend money here. Look how great it is. Look at the city. Look at the Toronto Island. Look at the lakeshore. Look at the downtown. I can eat any kind of food in the world at a gourmet restaurant right here in Toronto." I didn't know that.
Somebody pointed something out to me about the restaurants during World Cup. This is a bubble, a financial bubble, right?
Yes.
So for 5 weeks around that bubble, inside that bubble, restaurants will thrive and they will grow and everything. However, we're in a situation, if you've driven around downtown where some of your favorite restaurants no longer exist post-COVID. So what we're expecting is in the retail market for stores to open that aren't open, restaurants to be there that aren't there currently. And then we're asking our city to open new venues and new things and be prepared for this bubble. So I ask you, do you think FIFA is out there taking some risks? Over the last number of World Cups, they seem to be. Am I wrong about this?
I finish your.
Well, it just seems to me that FIFA is like, okay, they must be at this point saying,
no, FIFA makes their money.
I'm sure they make their money.
I understand what you're saying. FIFA, like the mob, they'll get bleepity bleep paid.
Jim, watch your mouth, okay?
FIFA will make bank. FIFA will make their money. The officials will get gourmet meals and 5-star hotels.
Yeah.
They make their money. That's a guaranteed thing with the World Cup. The global ratings, the revenue, the people coming from around the world, the international media.
That's another thing. We're going to have a spotlight on Canada.
Exactly. So
a spotlight on Canada that to some parts of the world, we look a little...
There's no you asked, what are we going to do? Like this and that. Do you know that in Super Bowl cities, what a common thing is?
What?
They will take all the homeless and all the addicts and round them up and bus them to motels outside of the city during the event. Do you know that?
I wonder what the city's paying for that, because I do have a sizable lot. I think that's disturbing to me. But you're right. I mean, it happens.
It happens.
And by the way, that happened here in Canada, in an Olympic host city, and it's been going on for years. That when there's a problem on the streets, they're cleared out, put on a bus, and
then everyone comes back afterwards.
So now we have this, and during the G7 summit,
yes,
we cleaned up that 400. Like, ooh, I know that we'll put a spit polish on as many things as we can, but the truth is, if it starts to crack and crumble, Canadians aren't going to ignore that and say, "Oh, we're happy to do this." You're right. We'll be the first ones to go, "Well, we told you, you and your FIFA,
the World Cup,
and your damn FIFA, Jim."
The one thing I'm going to give Toronto and Ontario and Canada the benefit of the doubt, they will have OPP and RCMP and Army Reserves and plainclothes officers, and you'll have security from the respective countries and military and paramilitary from the respective countries. They'll be protecting that soccer team like it's part of their national identity. Don't kid yourself. The level of security.
Really?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There will be plainclothes detectives from all the countries hovering around where the players may go to eat or drink or go to a nightclub.
So
to
will they
protect
actually
them.
cordon off areas of the city that are safe spaces for the players to be?
That might be something they do.
Oh, that's really cool.
The level of security for some of these countries is pretty intense. And I've seen it at big sporting events where they have plainclothes detectives going around to different places, different nightclubs and different bars and restaurants, whether or not they have a bad reputation or not, looking to see if there's someone there to make sure they're not getting into trouble.
I think you hit it on the head when you pointed out that, okay, look, there's certain trepidation. I'm representing the people out there that are somewhat skeptical,
Sure.
a little bit worried.
You're not alone.
But I think that it's, and you pointed out something interesting. At the time we did this deal,
the world was different.
Right. Now, that makes me think, okay, Canada, let's just be careful because things change. Let's not be promising that we'll do this and do that with our money at a time where you and I just discovered on a show recently, we pay $800 more per household
just
for
to
groceries.
feed each other.
Yeah.
For basic food.
So we kind of need to think these things through. Yes, we do want to be part of the international FIFA soccer stage. Yes, of course. And we want to succeed, and we want our soccer players to rise. I think we have to temper that a bit with, we want to host the party.
It's basically, Mike, I understand what you're saying, and there's a lot of people who feel the same way and have valid arguments, but it's the horse is out of the barn, right? It's too late.
Yeah.
Like, this is happening. All the contracts are signed. The renovations are underway. The preparations are underway. Already Airbnb prices for next June and July in Toronto and Vancouver are through the roof.
Okay.
Hotel prices are way through the roof.
By the way, there's a house available in Ontario.
So they know that people will come from around the world. They know they're going to be able to make some money. For a lot of these bars and restaurants, a lot of these nightclubs, it's a chance to get back to pre-pandemic times, pre-pandemic revenue streams. Get back to maybe a pre-pandemic way of life where a lot of people gather in downtown Toronto, downtown Vancouver, and have basically a sort of a soccer international festival. There's nothing wrong with that.
I have great hope in my heart, Jim, to be honest with you.
Let's
be positive.
We're going to be positive. There's nothing to worry about right now. We'll find out the draw Friday, December 5th, which is broadcast around the world. And unfortunately, Donald Trump's going to be part of it. And they're going to be drawing the countries. We'll find out who Canada's going to play. We'll find out what other countries are going to be playing.
Toronto built a stadium without a roof. It gets very cold here. I find it very cold. I don't say it's cold. Many people say it's cold. I'm from New York. I know it's cold.
And then we will see as we drive around downtown Toronto, slowly but surely, it looks like a giant Meccano set of the temporary seats being built around the existing structure that is BMO Field.
That you say Meccano set.
No, that's what it's going to look like.
It really does look like it's going to be built that way. Yeah.
And in early May, they'll basically hand over control of the BMO Field and BC Place to FIFA. And before you know it, it's going to be here. Now, all this going on, the World Cup, the Blue Jays are going to still be down the road at Rogers Center. There's still going to be concerts at Budweiser Stage and Scotiabank Arena. There's still going to be arts and life and everything happening in the city. It'll be impossible to drive into Toronto or into Vancouver from mid-June to mid-July next year. It won't happen. You'll have to take some sort of transit or train or GO train. There's no other way to get into the city.
So here's how I think you handle it. If you live in Toronto or Vancouver, you put your Airbnb up now. And you start, you know what, get your friends bidding against it as well. Get a little bidding war going. And at that point, you book your trip to any of the participating countries in the World Cup that you wanted to see as they're emptying themselves out to come to Toronto or Vancouver. And you use your Airbnb money to go and see the world.
Now, the money man that he is, Paul Micucci, I know he's already thinking, wait a sec. There are literally hundreds of empty condos in downtown Toronto, walking distance to BMO Field.
Believe you just said this.
Hundreds. You could take the elevator from your Airbnb condo and get down and walk to BMO Field.
Nick, don't lie to me. Did you also have the thought that our buddy Paul is thinking, how do I do the
You know he is.
You know he is.
You know he is. And for all the angst and hand-wringing for real estate people in the city, this could save them basically renting out their condo for June and July of next year for people as just a hub to stay, to live and party. There'll be journalists staying there, organizers, security, you
Do you
name
mind
it.
signing over the rights to me to your garage? We'll just get that going now.
Wait a sec. My garage is full of racks of stuff for my kids. I can barely walk in there.
Okay, you know what? We're going to have to do some cleaning, but I do think we have an Airbnb plan.
Yeah, but this is where a lot of people have to understand that it's renting out empty condos that can't sell, making some revenue there.
Okay, but let's do this.
It's rehabilitating and reviving bars and restaurants and nightclubs.
Okay, but let's not bullshit.
What?
Let's have some transparency as we go.
Okay.
Let's get some projections on real projections on what we can do here. Let's have some accountability once it's done. Let's do this properly, Toronto and Vancouver. Let's take a look at what happened. Let's really be honest about the numbers. Let's be honest about the potential problems, and let's solve them together.
I couldn't agree more. July 19th is the championship game for the World Cup of 2026. It will take, let's be serious, a couple months of accounting to break down the numbers to understand what side of the ledger that Toronto and Vancouver are on. Were they in the black? Did they make some money after all of this? But it's more than just the money made in 2026. Did we make enough of an impression as a city, as a province, as a country, for BC, for Ontario, for Vancouver and Toronto, that all these people that came from around the world will say, I want to come back, visit, vacation, spend my money there again? That's a big part of it.
Ojalá. From your mouth to God's ears, buddy. Let's hope that it goes that way.
I can't wait. I'm still trying to find a way to get tickets to one of the games. I have friends and family.
I got tickets. Give me. Do you have? If you have some cash on you, take a down payment right now. Yeah.
What's that mean?
What I need is I just need like a quick down payment. When the tickets are printed, I'll deliver them. You pay the balance.
But this is going to be good for Canada, good for the cities involved, good for everyone. And I know right now there's a lot of Canadians refusing to travel to America. I get it because of the 51st state and the stuff with Trump. What if Canada goes to a quarterfinal and it's held in Chicago or it's held in MetLife Stadium in New Jersey? There's going to be a huge contingent of Canadian fans who will say, I'm going to break my rule. I'm going down to cheer on Team Canada.
Yeah.
We don't know that they won't go to a quarterfinal game. We don't know that they're not going to be playing one of those big stadiums.
How do FIFA fans, by the way, I wanted to ask this and I forgot. Sorry, I know you probably have got things to do with your day.
No, I got all the time in the world for you, Mike.
Jimmy, I want to say thank you for talking me through my paranoia about this because I'm so not knowledgeable on it. But one of the things that I did want to know is how are FIFA fans feeling about this being a North America-wide spread of games? It seems like
that's
two of the things that I thought about was, oh, wow, we had a lot of smoke in the air in all of these areas, courtity of our unstoppable fire in Canada.
Right.
And also travel for these games seems like this almost seems like a coordination nightmare.
Logistically, it is a challenge. And minutes after the World Cup draw December 5th, plans will be starting to be made because the fans and the organizers and the teams and the officials and everyone, the traveling circus that goes with all these countries to these different World Cup cities will start making their plans right now. I'm going to be in Toronto this day. I'm going to be in Philadelphia this day. Then I go to San Francisco. Then I go to Mexico City. It'll be stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality of it. The one thing also that a lot of the cities, especially Toronto and Vancouver, have to prepare themselves. Game day, first game, Canada versus name the country, Friday, June 12th. Those fans of that city will get up at 6:30 and start pounding drinks right then for a game that'll start usually in the afternoon, because FIFA likes their games to be broadcast in Europe about 8 p.m.
Okay.
So say the match is 2 p.m. local time, so it's broadcast prime time in Europe on a Friday night. And that's one thing. Bars and restaurants will be open for breakfast with full taps of beer and shots and you name it.
Oh,
I'm
starting to like the sound of this more and more, Jim. Keep going.
It is a global festival, and people.
We'll have female bacon started serving at 3 a.m. Okay, I'm starting to like all.
Of this. Like the the hikers in the dark with a little helmet while they're flipping the back bacon.
I like it. I think honestly, I think it'll be a great deal of fun.
As a proud Canadian, I think it's going to be great for the country. It's great for everyone. And I know we have concerns. You're silly not to have concerns. You have to be realistic.
Well,
Mike.
we let things happen, Jim. Let's be honest. A lot of things go awry financially. Anything north of $100 million, we tend to just let things happen with that money.
But Mike, sometimes you need to spend some money to make some money.
Hey, this is what I say to people.
And by spending a little money, by rebuilding the infrastructure, by cleaning things up, by preparing things, you're not just benefiting Toronto, Vancouver, and Canada in 2026. It could be a benefit for years to come. There could be future big events, a future influx of tourists, because the walls, the invisible wall between Canada and the U.S. eventually is going to drop, and there's going to be legions of Americans coming here to spend their money because they're making 30 cents on the dollar, right? They want to come to Toronto and hang out. Why wouldn't they?
This is a great excuse to cross-border shop. Live the life. Absolutely. Yeah.
And their dollar's going so much further. And even some of these countries with the euro, they're going to come here.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
They're going to have a field day. So this
is a field day.
See what I did there? The World Cup. He's Mike. I'm Jim. Go Canada, go. It's going to be a great time.
Thanks, Jimmy. Thank you.
Thank you.